you've started off the night with a terrific performance with Kai Valley Hotspur.
Yes, Robbie. He's a lovely colt and seems to be getting better and better. And he's got good speed, but he's pretty strong as well. So, later on in the season, I think he'll be a major player in the good races.
We just spoke about him before the race. He looked like whatever he was going to do tonight, there's still plenty of improvement.
Yes, he had a trial a couple of weeks ago at Bendigo and was a bit plain, and then trialled nicely. I think it was here on Monday night and felt good. So he'll just keep improving.
He didn't ping the gate. We weren't sure whether it was a controlled, from yourself, from the speed out of the gate. Were you worried about who was going to lob behind you, or the horse went a little bit rough?
Oh, no, he's a bit like that, Robbie. Just that first stride or two when the gate leaves, he can just try to go too quick, and I'm just a bit cautious with him. And but yeah, once you sort of get over that, the first 20 metres in he's away, he really musters good. So I was just probably lucky there was a few in the middle that sort of shepherded Kate from getting across me. So, yeah, once the turn come up, he was in control.
So based on that, if you were obviously the first horse drawn out for the barrier draw, what barrier would you be looking at?
I don't know. Good question. So, but no, he actually gets out of the gate really good, drawn a little bit wider, but you can't afford to do that too much, that you'd be worried about the ones drawn inside you. So, we'll just leave that to Ricky and go from there.
So you're going to pass the responsibility elsewhere?
I've got enough on my plate, so he can do that.
Congratulations to you, Kate. That is one of the special training performances, and more importantly, one of the most special efforts that Tornado Valley has ever produced.
I feel like I've won the Great Southern Star. He was just, out of form his last 3 runs, last prep. We trialled him probably 6-8 weeks ago. He was just, he just didn't trial any good. And I said, Andy, maybe he's getting towards the end of his tether. He's done such a good job. It's really hard to be at the top for so long. And I just changed his work up. I started working him intervals and I just tried something different. And I just did that for a few weeks. And then Monday, I worked him and he just worked I can't remember who he worked with. It was something really good and he just broke the clock on my track and the way he did it. And I come off the track and I said to Andy, we have to run this horse. And Andy actually watched him work and he can tell by watching them when they work good and really good. And he said, yep, we do. And, to do what he's done tonight, still, as good as he worked, you still got to come to the races and do it. And I didn't know how good he'd get out the gate and all that stuff, but I know the interval training definitely sharpens him up, and it's sharpened him up.
Most importantly, the way he's performing at the moment indicates, hopefully, fingers crossed, if he stays sound, there's still a long way to go for his career.
Yeah, to have a couple of years off and the way he's come back in all these 3 runs, he just seems to be progressing every time. And I was just wrapped how he finished it off tonight. You
had to burn out at a gate, got into a little bit of a war, but you elected not to go on with it?
Yeah, I thought I had to get a position early, and then he's such a good racehorse. We really slowed down to a walk and he just jogs along, that relaxed, and yeah, he just picked up himself at the 400. He's just ready to go, and he's just got a bit of quality about him.
Probably settled further back than you really wanted to then, Chris.
Yeah, I said to you, hopefully I could be close enough and he'd go all right, but I just didn't want to be pushing him too hard early. He's had taken him a little while to get his confidence trotting, so I was just happy to be trotting and get away somewhere there.
You didn't get unsettled that you were back on the pegs that far back?
Oh, it wasn't ideal when they slowed down so much, and but he sort of was that far back when he won last start, so he's making a habit of it, which is a pretty good habit.
He's going places. He seems to be rising to each challenge you're putting to him, which is a really good sign.
Yeah, for sure. He's just come so far. It's all just a matter of getting his confidence trotting, and he was doing a few things wrong in the field and that sort of thing, and yeah, he's really just kept stepping up his last 4 or 5 starts.
He continues to step up and he continues to deliver.
Yeah, he does. He still hasn't had to run really solid time yet, but the signs are really good, and now with that gate speed as well, it's promising.
that early burn, talk us through it, because you had to really hunt hard to get across to the lead.
Yeah, we did. You know, he got out the gate pretty good himself, and I thought it was a good opportunity to, you know, look like that he was a chance of crossing them, and so we had to drive him up pretty hard to do so, and it probably won us the race.
You say that he hasn't run time, but at the end of the day, it's just how he wins. He just does it so comfortably.
He does, actually. You know, like I do think I could, you know, run along a little bit more, and he'd probably finish off in the same sectional. So I do feel that way about him. The other day at home when I worked him, he sort of felt a little bit better, a little bit sharper, a little bit different. So hopefully he's improving all the time, because he needs to, because he's moving up in grade.
But you do it at the end of the day for the owners and the people that just get so much pleasure in being involved in the sport of harness racing.
Oh, absolutely, Rob. You know, it's seeing the emotion from people like that don't obviously get to experience victory in these races all that often, and you know, it just means the absolute world to them. And it was funny, I haven't driven the last couple of races. I've just been floating around the stables and having a chat, and just when I came up then to drive it there, Wayne's wife, she said, "You just look calm as anything." She said, "I'm a nervous wreck, you know," and she said, "I apologise if this goes to plan after the race. They will be full of emotion afterwards." And I said, "That's what it's all about. We love to see it, so this is just awesome."
It's hasn't it been a transition for this mare? I mean, look, she went around for a long time, you know, ran some nice races, but just seemed to be, you know, just struggling a little bit. But over the last 6 to 8 weeks, she's just found a new lease of life, and she's just racing with so much great zest. And for the Lear family to come to Melton in a Group 2 race like tonight, it's so special.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it was. I'm not sure how many runs she's had this campaign, but I reckon after a short break, I think she was first up at Echuca, and you know, Wayne was pretty happy with her, but thought she'd need the run and just drive her conservatively. And I could hardly hold her slow enough. And when the gaps came through, she darted through and hit the line really strong. And she's just taken it all before ever since. Just every run, she's just got a bit stronger and you know, solid in her gait. And yeah, she just keeps stepping up to the bar every time she's gone round. So yeah, Wayne and the team, they've just done a super job with this time in.
Congratulations. You as a person, you're pretty cool. You've always got that beautiful smile. Do you get emotional right now? How are you feeling?
I'm not so emotional now. I was more emotional after the heat win, because as good as he's been working at home, they have to do it at the races, and it's like, and now to win, it's like it was almost too good to be true. Like to win the heat and then win the final, it was almost like a comeback fairy tale story that just doesn't really happen. So for him to do what he's done tonight, and for Andy to train him like he does, and just it's quite at the start of the week when I said to Andy, run this horse, I didn't expect him to come out and win it. And like Andy said, he thought the heat was probably his grand final, because you just don't know when they've been off the races for so long.
Well done, Tony. Great win by your horse in the final event.
Yeah, he's a nice horse. He's just getting better every time he goes around. He's just still learning what to do out there, you know. So no, he just keeps stepping up. Every time I ask him to do a bit more, he just keeps giving it to me. So I'm really happy with him.
Just a quick background about the horse, how he came about to the stable.
We're looking for a trotter, and I messaged my mate Zach Butcher from New Zealand, and I said, mate, you know, you look for a trotter for me, it'll be good. And a couple of weeks later, he got back to me, goes, "Oh, I got this trotter that goes half decent. I reckon do a good job in Melbourne." So yeah, we picked him up from there.